Full Court Press.
There is no stopping this team.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools. If it's the sport you care about, we're talking about it.
Merrill for the lead. He's got it!
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Ajay Salvesen.
I'd hate to see how you balance your checkbook.
I'm telling you, I'd hate to see you general manage a team.
Y'all getting paid millions to act like...
The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome to the Full Court Press. Ajay Salvesen, Cody Olson, Eric Frandsen's here somewhere out there. He'll be joining us here in just a minute. For all winter kickoff time, happy Monday, June 7th. And
Monday.
We are getting into the second round of the NBA playoffs.
It's exciting.
Well, it is and it isn't, depending on how optimistic
Come
you are
on,
right
Ajay.
now.
Keep it with me.
I'm trying,
Stay with
man.
Me.
I'm
Stay with me,
trying.
Ajay.
Hanging in there for dear
We're doing
life,
okay.
man.
We're going to make it. It's all right. We promise. Stay positive.
Good to have you all here joining us at 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, 106.9thefan.com, and the 106.9 The Fan mobile app. I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Ajay Knight, who joined us last week, throughout the whole entire week, and to all our guests who were a part of the show as well. That was a lot of fun last week.
It was so much fun.
Time to get back to adult time, though. That sucks. It's like when you go to a party, like a weekend getaway with your friends, and you come home and Dad's like, all right, time to do chores.
Time to mow the lawn. Pull weeds.
All right. Nope, you don't get to watch sports anymore. Now you got to watch, Fox News or CNN or whatever.
Like,
now you're going to watch what I want to watch. Matlock.
You love Matlock.
Okay, by the way, I actually kind of got into Matlock a little bit. I became a huge fan of the Andy Griffith Show, though.
Really?
Well, which did you prefer, Matlock or Murder, She Wrote?
Oh, Matlock. Murder, She Wrote was just too far out there. Like, I needed it within range, and Matlock kept it within range of reality. Murder, She Wrote was just all over the place. Eric, hi.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're a little bit more tan than the last time I saw you.
I was trying
Very
to catch up
nice.
to you, but I couldn't get there.
Okay, so you got to tell me, we're earlier today, you were saying something about how you lost your glasses?
Yes, I'm wearing an old pair of glasses today.
They look so great on
That's
you.
what it was. That's what it was. You look a little more sophisticated. Very philosophical.
That's what it was?
That was it. I was thrown off. I'm like,
Really
who
caught
is
me off
this?
guard, too.
Who is this man? I don't know him.
As I'm leaving today, my son's like, Dad, did you get a haircut? I'm like, no. When did I have time to get a haircut with you being around? It's like, well, you look different. Like, well, I got different glasses on. I actually shaved today. So I had Lake Powell beard going on. I was spending the last week down
You
in
should have
Lake
kept
Powell.
that. I would have died to see a Lake Powell beard from Eric.
I know.
Would've been
I
cool.
thought about it, but my wife's like, you got to shave that. So I shaved it this morning.
That's why you defy be a rebel like me.
Yeah, you got
My
the
wife's
little handlebar
My
mustache
wife's gonna
going.
take a freaking razor to it. She hates it.
So, yeah, spent a week down in Lake Powell. It was awesome. It was fun. We were there with family. We had a good time. Last day, the very last part of the last day on the water.
In the 11th hour.
We're coming into the marina. We'd been on a houseboat, but we're coming into the marina. We got to load some Sea-Doos. And one of them had died earlier in the week, which was not that fun, but we still had a good time. So we need to tow it in to the marina to get loaded up. So my son's on one of them, and I'm on the one that's dead. And we're getting the straps all together, figured out so we can get the towing. And first lesson was I really didn't need to be on the dead one. I could have been on with my son. We could have doubled up there. It would have been fine. But no, I get on the other one. The other lesson was because there was so much slack, we took that extra slack and just wrapped it around the handlebars.
Oh no!
And
I know where this is
didn't
going
reattach
already.
it down to the bottom and the front. So when he started going,
You nosedive.
he just opened it up to start going, and instead of pulling it from the front, it pulled it from the top and just tipped it on its side. And I'm yelling like, no. But there's waves, and he's juicing it, and he's going without a thought in the world. So it totally flips me off, slams into my ankles. I swear I almost had like a broken ankle.
Nice.
I end up in the water, and I'm like, oh, my glasses. And I'm like splashing around, and I can't find them. So I lost my glasses. They're in the bottom of Lake Powell.
Lake Powell will
He
forever
sounds
have
like
a part of
Ralphie on
Eric
Christmas
Frandsen.
Story, dude. My glasses!
My glasses! Lake Powell will forever own a piece of Eric Frandsen.
Yes, that's true. They'll be covered
The
in
Lake
quagga
Powell
mussels
monster.
before the end of next
Oh,
week, I'm
man.
sure. But
Bummer.
so we finally pull into shore where I'm getting off, and we, just because of the time of the day and everything, we ended up spending one more night on the houseboat, but it was in the marina. And so I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't have glasses. I'm the one to drive home because we're towing stuff, and we have a car full of stuff, and there are other people in my vehicle who can drive, but like, I'm not making that drive back to Logan. Like, okay, I can make it. I just need a really good spotter to sit next to me.
Is that the stop sign, or is that a lady?
Just
in a
tell
red
me when the
suit?
speed limit changes. I can tell when there's a vehicle coming at me.
Sir, you were going. You know how fast you're going? Yeah, 75. Sir, it's 25. Oh,
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
There's not much to see anyway, like driving all the way up until you hit like
I
Bobo.
want our listeners to know I did not do that. We did not put ourselves or others in danger. Luckily, I did have a set of old contact lenses in my shave kit that still worked.
gotta
so,
come prepared.
Yeah,
Wow.
that Boy Scout training helped me out in the bind.
Shoot, that's too good.
If only they had a merit badge on how to tow an appropriate sea-doo.
Yeah, yes. Learned a few lessons the hard way.
A Guild Mortgage text line is open for you to be a part of the show. Always love having our listeners here with us. 435-339-0321. Again, to text into the show, 435-339-0321. 5338 text in. Coke can incoming. Signed world's best behaved sports fans. Now, that was not good.
Eric, you've been gone for so long, I forget what we've covered.
I don't know what that
You know what
means.
we're talking about?
Oh.
I'll be honest.
He doesn't know.
When we're in Lake Powell, we're in the side canyon, no cell coverage whatsoever. We did, a couple days into it, realize that if you go out of the canyon into this big bay, out in the middle of this big open water, you might be lucky to get some coverage.
You do a smoke signal and see something. Yeah.
So, like, every day, at least one adult went on a run out into the middle of the bay to check email or make phone calls. And once I figured that out, I went out to make sure to check on the progress of the Jazz series with the Grizzlies, and everybody was very grateful for me. But beyond that, I don't really know what's been going on.
What a hero.
Let's put it this way.
Eric Frandsen, the hero.
Fans forgot how to react to when they're in a live game.
Or behave as a human being, actually.
Well, that was going on before I left.
Oh, that was? See, I don't even know when you were... Dude, you were gone for like 2 weeks. So
Spitting on, well, practically it was. Yeah, spitting on... what's his name? Trey Young.
Yelling stuff at Trey
Yelling
Young.
at John Morant's parents.
John
Yeah, that
Morant's
was happening
parents.
right before I left.
Popcorn.
And then last night during the USA-New Mexico game, which was, by the way, a great soccer game in so many ways, Mexico fans were not thrilled about some of the way the soccer was being played or being reffed. So they do what they normally do in their country, but not in our country. Well, I guess I thought we didn't do it in our country, but they started throwing bottles out in the field. I mean, nearly plunking players and coaches. So that was wonderful.
Where was the game played?
Denver, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, it was in Denver. USA won that match, by the way. What a great match that was in
That's
soccer.
right.
That was a phenomenal,
Mad flex.
phenomenal soccer game. So pretty cool there. Yeah, so let's recap you, Eric. Jazz got away from Memphis. Anthony Davis quit basketball. Damian Lillard is quitting Portland. He's leaving Portland.
He's unfriended everybody.
He's already blocked everybody on Instagram, and he's already been on trips to Los Angeles, Brooklyn, New York, Utah as family vacations, quote unquote. What else did he miss?
He's pulling an Aaron Rodgers, basically.
Jordan Clarkson is shouting at players to feed him the ball.
Yep.
Every time they go down the court.
What a stud.
Tim
Tebow's better than Alex Smith.
Yeah, Team Tebow's Reggie Bush is the greatest college football player of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know,
I've
that's-
missed a lot.
I mean, like, we covered a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was absolutely set in stone, too.
If you had to rank your baseball moves, it'd go Sandlot at 5,
Yep.
42 at 4,
Yep.
For the Love of the Game at 3,
Yep.
Moneyball
Moneyball.
at 2,
Yep.
and The Natural at 1.
Where's Field of Dreams? How is Field of Dreams not on that?
Ask
Moneyball
AJ
is
Knight.
not really that great of a movie.
Let's see here.
hot take.
And 5308. Oh, see, sorry, I'll get to your text in just a minute. But I supposedly called listeners dumb when I didn't really call them dumb.
Oh, that was
AJ
fun.
just didn't let me finish my
Well,
sentence.
you've called them cheapskates before.
No, you? Okay. And by the way, I got blamed for that crap too because you jumped in and we're like, well, yeah, we're cheap. Haha. So then when
Well,
Phil blamed me.
you started it.
So yeah, it was a great week without you. We nearly set the place on fire with some of our hot takes.
While the cat's away, right?
Okay, so I got to know, before I left,
Yep.
Jordan Clarkson was awarded the sixth man.
Yes.
Julius Randle, most improved.
Yep.
Any other NBA
No.
postseason awards handed out?
No, we are taking our freaking sweet time. It is
Coach, defensive player.
It is like the NCAA tournament show where we take 4 hours to announce 64 teams. We could have done it in 1 hour.
They did like 2 in 1 week, and they
Yep.
haven't done anything since?
Yep, they're just holding on. I mean, they are waiting for the suspense to just eat everybody alive.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
not that we already have enough suspense in our life, because for the first time in 10 years, well, actually, first time since, I guess, in 11 years, LeBron James and Steph Curry are not a part of the playoffs here in the second round. First time in 11 years that neither of them will be in the NBA Finals.
Yep.
And first time, I think, if I have to look this up again, but I think the first time since 88 that you look at the teams in the playoffs right now, okay? And in the Western Conference, we have the Utah Jazz, LA Clippers, Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns. In the East, we have the Nets, Sixers, Bucks, and Hawks. What do they all have in common, Eric?
Finals appearances, not very many, if any. I mean, Philadelphia won when? Was that early 80s?
Yep.
I
Absolutely.
know
In fact,
the Jazz, the
according to our
Suns,
notes,
the Nuggets.
according to our Mr. Cody Olton, our wonderful producer, 1983, the Sixers won. What? And then, let's see.
There's one right here.
Brooklyn is
What do
number
you got?
one.
Go ahead and give it to me.
Of the 4 teams remaining in the Western Conference playoffs, one has never made it out of the second round. Another team advanced to the conference finals 4 times but couldn't get past the round. The other 2 teams advanced to the NBA Finals only to run into Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls.
And then on the other side, Nets, Sixers, Bucks, Hawks. So Nets have never seen the finals. Bucks were there in 71. Hawks 58. 76ers 83. So NBA ratings, eat your heart out.
Someone's going to get
We're
it.
going to go wild here.
It's a wide open field, which is kind of exciting.
All right, so let's start with that. Again, if you want to text into the show, 435-339-0321 for our 0321 for our Gil Mortgage text line. 5308 text in. Eric, of all the teams left in the West, who's the biggest threat for the Jazz? You're about to meet them.
I think that's probably the best, most accurate take there. That I think that the Clippers, the way that they're playing, especially in games 6 and 7, it's like, okay, they're kind of flipping a switch. Now, is it just an abomination? Is it just a single game here or there where they played really well against a Dallas team that doesn't play defense? That's what we don't really know. But that's the Clippers team that a lot of people have talked about and warned about, but just we didn't see consistently through the season. But if that's how they're going to play in the postseason from here on out, that is the most dangerous team Utah can face, I believe, in the rest of this Western Conference.
And if
playoffs.
I dare say, it's probably the best team in the rest of the Western Conference. I'm going to go on a limb and say that. I'm not saying the Jazz aren't going to lose. I'm saying that the Clippers are the best team in the Western Conference left. The Suns are okay. Chris Paul's not 100% healthy. Devin Booker can't do it on his own. Ayton's a rookie here in the playoffs. The Jazz, they've got Bogey, Bogdanovich. They got Bogey, Ingles, Mitchell, Conley, Clarkson. They've got the tool set. But when you look at an all-around team, bench-wise including offensive and defensive side of the ball, man, the Clippers absolutely terrify me, Eric. I mean, they scare me to death. And you're right. Game 6 and Game 7 were a very clear picture, like HD 4K picture of what the Clippers will look like when everybody's healthy and they're playing at their very best. That was an unreal show that they put on in Game 6 and 7 versus the Mavericks.
Yeah, I didn't get to see Game 6. I did see Game 7. But that was, that's a really good team that had, finally Kawhi really came alive consistently. Paul George played really well. Reggie Jackson used to be a bench player. They inserted him into the starting lineup. That made a big difference. Rondo is kind of disappearing, but he's a crafty veteran that plays at a different level when it comes to the playoffs. So Zubac, he's a player that doesn't get as much attention and as respect as perhaps he deserves. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough team to cover for the Jazz. Jazz beat them 2 out of 3 times, but those were early in the season. So there a lot changed.
And one of them wasn't with their full squad either. And when they did play their full squad, they lost.
Yeah.
So, by the way, credit to our intern Cody Olson here on this little nugget right here. The Utah Jazz and the Clippers have faced each other in the playoffs 4 times. In 92, the Jazz won the series 3-2. In 97, they won it 3-0. In 2017, they won it 4-3, the Game 7 win in the Staples Center, and, of course, this year. Here is what the schedule looks like for the first 3 games. At home versus the Clippers on, tomorrow and June 10th. It's an every other day series here in the second round. We're going to pick things up just a bit. So tomorrow versus the Clippers, it's at 8 o'clock on TNT. This is all Mountain Time. Home against the Clippers on June 10th. That's also 8 o'clock on ESPN. ABC on Saturday at LA. It's at 6:30. And then, June 14th, 16th, 18th, 20th. Of course, it'll go at LA, home against LA, at LA, home against LA, if necessary. Those games may need be. So late games, 8 o'clock and 8 o'clock again to start off the playoff series. And then 6:30 on Saturday. That is on ABC inside the Staples Center. Eric, first, if I may ask you really quickly, Utah Jazz took care of Memphis Grizzlies. What can they take from that series and duplicate over to this series that would give them a chance versus this heavy bev Clippers team?
Well, they did play, even though the Jazz beat the Grizzlies 4-1, they played a scrappy, hard defensive team, hard-nosed team that didn't back down, and that's what they're going to see against the Clippers. Now, they're going to see better offense against the Clippers. Memphis just didn't have as many weapons offensively. But having some guys that can attack the rim, that the Clippers have, and that's kind of what Memphis had as well. I think that those are a few things that have helped prepare the Jazz. The Clippers have Zubac, and the Grizzlies had Valanciunas. So there are a few things that are some similarities, but certainly I think we all understand the Clippers are definitely a step or two above what Memphis is. So the Jazz have that advantage of facing a team that's a hard-nosed, scrappy team, got a good center, got some dynamic shooters, but I think the biggest advantage here is that the Clippers had to do a grinded-out 7-game series and have to have a quick turnaround to face Utah tomorrow. That is probably the biggest advantage that the Jazz have going for them. They cannot squander that.
The biggest question for the Utah Jazz will be if Mike Conley will play Game 1. Everyone kind of thought, hey, if we go to a Game 7, Conley would be available for Game 1 on Tuesday. We don't know officially if he is available. We're still waiting to hear. I know they had a press conference today, and I think they have a shoot-around press conference tomorrow as well. Right now in the playoffs, we're seeing coming back from the ankle sprain, Donovan Mitchell, 28.5 points, playing extremely well. Meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard had 45 in Game 6 to force that Game 7 on Sunday. And the Jazz right now is a team shooting 40.5% on 41.5 3-point attempts per game in the first round, which is actually pretty incredible. Just saying, you talked about the Grizzlies defense. And then the biggest concern I have here, and Cody noted it as well, is what Morant and Dillon were able to do as guards, getting inside the paint and getting whatever they want. I know you talked about Rondo. He's kind of disappeared. At least he's not as big of a vocal point of the offense as he was in Boston. But he's still Rajon Rondo. Like you say, he's a crafty veteran. They're going to really, really need Mike Conley to play really well.
Yeah, and I think that can be certainly the big advantage that Utah has over the Clippers is multiple really good ball handlers on the floor, good floor generals. I think that's... And I think the big advantage as I see Utah over the Clippers is that good floor generals, if you will, with Mike Conley, Joe Ingles, and I even put Donovan Mitchell in there, over what the Clippers have. I think Utah has a better center, a more dominant, more impactful center. I think Utah has the advantage of rest. And then the last key is I think that Utah has more shot makers from your starters to your bench. I think they have more guys who can shoot threes and get points than what the LA Clippers have. Now, on the other side, Clippers have probably the best guy in the league to get a bucket when he needs to get a bucket and to stop a bucket when he needs to stop a bucket. And then they have probably another top 5 guy that can do that too with Paul George. So how the Jazz try to defend Kawhi Leonard and Paul George is the tricky thing. Jazz have been able to defend Paul George pretty effectively, at least been able to get into his head. He's still a great player, but he's not a killer on the court against them. But how they defend Kawhi Leonard, that's going to be the biggest thing. And you know what? We were thinking, how are the Jazz going to slow down and defend John Morant? I mean, he had huge games against the Jazz. But it's how do they do it against everybody else? Like, you're going to have a player that's going to be great against you. It's how do you limit the other guys, the fringe guys? You don't want some guy who averages 6 a game to now all of a sudden average 12 or 15. That's what the Jazz really have to limit. And I think they can. They're a really good defensive team, and the Clippers had to scrape and grab and do everything they could to survive a 7-game series against a Dallas team that doesn't play defense.
The biggest concern I have, though, is Rudy Gobert could get exposed in this series very badly. He's not great with small lineups, and Clippers can play a small lineup, such as Marcus Morris at the 5, and he can shoot well from the outside. He can take it from the outside and drive into the paint. Gobert's going to have to be at his very, very, very best here, or else he could be, and just exposing him outside on the perimeter could allow guys to get to the hole easier. Kawhi, PG-13, that's a huge concern I have right now is how do they utilize Rudy Gobert, or I guess how do they take advantage of Rudy Gobert's size and his lack of movement on the perimeter and get to the hole where there's nobody there covering.
I don't think you're giving Rudy enough credit in how well he defends on the perimeter. He can go out on the perimeter. I don't think he
defends that well, though.
He actually, in one-on-one situations out away from the paint, he actually does quite well. When you look at the numbers, he's actually a really good defender still beyond the paint, outside of the paint. People think if they see this big 7-footer, you just put the guy on skates and dribble between your legs and get around him. Yes, that can happen, but if it's Marcus Morris or Markieff Morris out there, I don't worry about that. That's not that big a deal. He'll be able to defend him.
Think so?
Yeah, it's just what do the Jazz do to protect the paint if he has to go out?
Yeah. Again, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Utah Jazz will host the LA Clippers in Game 1. It's an every other day series, so it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Is what the series is looking like, for at least for the first 4, and then after that, if necessary. I want to get your predictions here in a little bit, actually, but first I want to get to this Milwaukee-Brooklyn 5:30 today on TNT. Second game on the TNT channel will be Denver and Phoenix. That's at 8 o'clock. First thought on Milwaukee and Brooklyn right now. It's Brooklyn 1-0 in this series, but no James Harden tonight with the hamstring issue again popping up. Does Milwaukee have any chance against Brooklyn?
Sure they do, but I think it has to be a little bit disheartening if you're the Bucks that James Harden goes down and you still lost the way that you lost.
Yeah, because Kevin Durant does what he does, and their bench has been so good.
Well, and Kyrie was phenomenal as a playmaker. Again. So, but this will be a good test to see Milwaukee. How well are they going to be able to make adjustments? They know James Harden's not going to be out there, so how does that affect where they attack Brooklyn, and how do they defend Brooklyn? So, this is Game 1. You kind of throw it out there. Yeah. But Game 2, how do you make adjustments now that you've seen each other again and you're reminded about each team's strengths and weaknesses?
What's your prediction in the series?
I think it's still Brooklyn, but I think it's a longer series without James Harden.
Okay.
I think Milwaukee makes it a long series. I think they can.
Wow. So Brooklyn in what?
I probably still stake Brooklyn in 6.
I'm going to take Brooklyn in 5. I just think, and you said it, like, how disheartening is it that James Harden goes out early in the game, and yet Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant do what they're supposed to do. Their bench comes in, was really good. Blake Griffin was awesome. Blake Griffin was a monster.
Yeah, but
Game 1.
Blake Griffin's not going to give that to you for a full series.
You don't think he will?
No.
Even an interested, invested Blake Griffin.
That's the problem. He can't consistently be that guy.
Again, that's at 5:30 tonight. Denver Phoenix is at 8 o'clock tonight. This is a really intriguing series in a lot of different ways. You got two savvy point guards on one end, and on the other, you're looking at your big man, and you're looking at maybe your shooting guards to hopefully help you out. But Jokic has been really, he was great in the first series. Got some help from the bench when he needed it. Phoenix is just on another level. It seems like Chris Paul, even when he's not healthy, he's still at his best.
Well, and Booker has taken it. Oh, he's played a great year.
Yeah.
But he played phenomenal in that Lakers series, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I didn't really see any of those games, but especially when when they closed that series out. So I think Denver's going to have a hard time with Phoenix, and I think I think it may come down to Chris Paul's health too. If he can give them, I don't know if 50% Chris Paul is enough. I don't know, but Denver, they continue to defy a lot of odds and things stacked against them. I didn't think that they'd be able to continue to play at a really high level once Jamal Murray went down, but they were able to hold on to the number 3 seed,
which is incredible.
They went through and took care of business against Portland in the first round. So, that team deserves more credit than I give them.
So what does it come down to with these two teams? Again, two good guards on one end and one team with a big man that is about as versatile since we've seen of Dirk Nowitzki in a way. So what is it the key for either the Suns or the Nuggets to get a win in this series?
Well, I think it's what happens on the fringes, what happens on the edges. So for Denver, is it Gordon? Does he start to step up his game? And this is unfamiliar territory for him. He's not used to playing this caliber of basketball this late in the year. Can he step up his game? And some of those other bench guys for Denver play better basketball. Michael Porter Jr., can he continue his evolution? And I think for Phoenix on the other side, Bridges continues to play really well. Ayton, actually, he's a rookie to all of this, but he's playing pretty well. So is Booker.
Yep.
So Ayton had his hands full in the first round against some really big, very talented players for most of the series, not the whole series. It's going to take a similar, if not another level, to try to contend with Jokic. But now he's a little bit more used to it. He's got his feet under him. So I think we need to give him a little bit more credit for what his abilities are too.
These two teams have faced off 4 times in the playoffs. In 1982, Denver Nuggets lost the series 2-1. In 83, Denver returned the favor, winning it 2-1. And then in 89, Phoenix Suns won the series 3-0, and here we are in 2021, the Western Conference semifinals. Nuggets Suns tonight, 8 o'clock. Again, that is on TNT. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to more NBA playoff basketball, including I want to get your prediction and your thoughts on this Utah Jazz team as we get ready for Game 1 tomorrow night versus a very talented Clippers team who maybe is coming off maybe a little bit of fatigue after a 7-game series, but as we've seen before, the Memphis Grizzlies, fatigue sometimes doesn't even matter. We'll talk about that and much, much more here in the Full Court Press. If you want to text in, we got a couple texts already. We'll get to those in just a bit from 9463 and 3426. If you want to also text in more, 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press on 106.9 The Fan.
We all know moms rule the world, but dads are important too. Do something special for Dad this Father's Day. Pick him out a watch to fit his personality from Jerix. We feature watches by Citizen, Bulova, unique wood watches by Tree Hut, and our own one-of-a-kind custom brand Jerix fine jewelry timepieces. Or maybe your dad would like a tie bar, chain, bracelet, or how about a special ring with your name engraved on the inside? Let Dad know how special he is.
Jerix fine jewelry. Make it special, make it Jerix.
This, keep it on the down low here, is the Dan Patrick Show. I think that they should do weight division, like boxing, heavyweight, light, heavy. If you had weight divisions, and let's say those over 235 pounds are in the heavyweight division, you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody probably in the world faster than DK Metcalf at that size.
Dan Patrick.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan. It's the Full Court Press, weekday afternoons from 4 to 6 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Full Court Press, Eric Frandsen, Ajay, Salvesen, Cody Olsen joining us here. Cody, you do your research, man. You did a great job here.
Hey, thanks.
Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns prediction. What do you got?
I've got Phoenix in 7.
Wow. What do you got?
I'm going to take Phoenix in 6.
I'm going to take Phoenix in 6, too. I just think the point guard level is just going to be too much to handle.
Yeah, I think that with Booker and Chris Paul being able to find and probe the weaknesses in the Denver defense, but Denver has Jokic and Michael Porter Jr., which are helping to carry their team too. So
3, 4, 2,
I think it's going to be a
6.
great battle.
We've kept counting Denver out. I think that they're going to push it all the way.
Hey, Leon Rose, great bumper music today. Attaboy, Cody.
Hey,
yeah,
Leon, my man. What a great hype man Leon
3, 4,
is.
2, 6.
Most underappreciated person on this show. Leon.
3, 4, 2, 6. For the Suns, I think it's Chris Paul being healthy is the key, and that's if he's not. It's over. If he is, makes the dynamic change. Okay, so if he's healthy, it's over. If he's not, we got problems.
Chris Paul being healthy, and that's if.
Right. That series may come down to how healthy is Chris Paul.
Yes.
That rest might have helped him. Just a little bit of rest might have helped him enough. Philadelphia, Atlanta. By the way, how about this one last night? Atlanta wins 121-24, which was just an absolute bonkers of a game. Atlanta led by 26 at one point, and then started turning over the ball like crazy. Couldn't get it past half court. Sixers cut it down to 2, I think, and then you got a 3 from the corner from Bogdanovich. Or is it, how do you say? Is it Bogdanovich or what? Yeah,
Bogdanovich.
Come on, guys. Make it easy for me.
Bogdanovich.
I'm gonna call him Boggy.
Boggy?
So Boggy with a clutch corner 3, and the Atlanta Hawks steal game 1 in Philadelphia, 1-0, and despite Embiid's great performance.
Yeah, you talk about not giving a team enough credit. I mean, we should all be giving Atlanta a lot more credit for how they took care of New York.
Incredible. Going
to Philadelphia and stealing game 1 there. That may be, I still think that's a little bit of fool's gold. But at the same time, look, Doc Rivers, he did well early on in Boston, but he hasn't really done anything great in the postseason since then.
And he's been out-coached. He got out-coached by Quinn Snyder in 17. Yeah. He got out-coached by Mike Malone last year, which was actually incredible, and really got out-coached last night. He was they were nowhere to be found. There was no energy in the arena, and Embiid was having his game, but nobody else was helping. Ben Simmons was not that great. This Atlanta team, people were telling me how scary they were, and I just didn't believe it. I thought it was a joke. My bad. My bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's okay to say you're wrong sometimes, Ajay.
I'm happy to see. Look, I'm happy to see Atlanta doing well. It's a franchise that's had some great players or great teams over the years. Kind of a forgotten team over this last little while. Trae Young, a really exciting young player in the NBA. But at the same time, I still think that Philadelphia, maybe despite Doc Rivers, because of the players that they have and the talent and experience that they have, I think they will still pull that series out.
Who, Philadelphia?
Yes.
How many games?
I think it'll be Philly in 6.
Cody?
I have Philly in 6.
I have Philly in 6. All credit to Trae Young, but it's Philly in 6. Yeah, absolutely.
Because Ben Simmons is going to guard Trae Young one-on-one now, and that'll be
but dude, like Ben Simmons is. I mean, and that's the other thing is what the frick, Doc Rivers? You have the so-called best defensive player ever in NBA history in Ben Simmons, and you're like, no, I don't feel like sticking him on the best scorer on their team. That made no sense to me at all.
No, I don't think
Let's not shut down their point guard.
Yeah, what the heck, man? All right, let's see. So let's go ahead and get to the Jazz. 9463 had texted in earlier and says, Quinn always, seems to always do a great job of picking on other teams' 3rd through 6th best players. I doubt Luke Kennard or Morris will have great games. It really is Kawhi in PG-13 that will give us trouble.
It will. And I think they don't intentionally just yield to let those guys, like the best player on the other team, just go off. They always still try to defend them. But what the Jazz do really well is to eliminate the second, third, fourth options for opponents.
That's a good point.
And so that's where the Clippers struggle. And Serge Ibaka may not be available. He's played really well against Rudy Gobert in the past. If he's not available, that's another advantage for Utah. But look, Joe, I relish to see the Joe Ingles versus Paul George matchup.
Do you think
series.
Joe will be guarding Paul George at all in this series? I mean, what is your thought process there? Or because defensive matchups are going to be so huge. In fact, 3426 texted in and said earlier, I don't really like saying this, but I think that the key is actually Derek Favors and what he does with the minutes he actually plays and the value of them, high energy, high motor.
Yeah. He needs to be
defensively.
He needs to be dialed in.
How do you match it up defensively? Who's guarding who?
Well, that's a great question. So for me, it's like who does Royce O'Neal guard? He probably guards Kawhi.
Kawhi's going to stick
and
30 on him.
He'll be undersized, undermatched.
He's going to get 30 without even breaking a sweat.
Do what he can. And then Bojan will initially start off by guarding
PG, you think?
Yes, Paul George, but then Joe Ingles will draw that defensive assignment.
Kawhi's going to average 40 points on Royce O'Neal without even breaking a sweat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jazz fans, but I don't have the faith.
I mean, look what Ja Morant did.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude.
He had an offensive explosion in that series.
Anything he wanted. Here's the problem, though.
Are we freaking out that the Jazz won the series 4-1 because Ja Morant got whatever he wanted?
No bench. Memphis didn't have the bench that the Clippers do, and the Clippers have the scoring power that is consistently there all series long that Memphis didn't have. Memphis had Ja Morant scoring for you consistently.
Yes. Dylan Brooks, anywhere from 18 to 25 points.
Okay, so then you got Paul George maybe scoring 30.
Well, he scored 30 one night.
Okay, Paul George scores 32. Leonard scores 35. Who knows what Zubac's going to do? Morris could have a night. I mean, they've got scoring threats throughout the lineup, not just two guys.
I get that, but so the Jazz. That's why I'm not in this freak out mode, because Bojan can give you 25 points a night. You can get 15 to 18 out of Joe Ingles.
You aren't going to get 18 out of Joe Ingles.
You can get 12 to 15 out of your buddy George Niang off the bench.
Okay,
Jordan Clarkson's going to give you 25 off the bench.
25 shots or 25 points?
Points.
Because Cody brought up a great point last week that, his shot selection is really just incredulous, to be honest with you. Here's my problem.
Quinn's giving him a green light, so he's going to put up whatever he wants.
George Niang's going to maybe get 12 points.
You mean Steph Niang, right?
Oh, don't, dude.
Oh, you missed
Stop
that.
it.
We call him Steph Niang.
No, we don't. Nobody, and even our listeners thought it was a dumb thing to do.
What are you saying about our listeners?
No.
I see where you're going with that again.
Don't do it again.
See, and I didn't even mention Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell.
Okay,
the Jazz,
but that's what I'm talking about. The
have
bench
more
outside your
offensive
top
firepower,
superstars.
And they play defense.
Okay, Joe Ingles is going to maybe give you 10, 12 points.
Okay,
George Niang will maybe give you 10 points.
Right, George can be anywhere from 5 points to 20 points.
We don't know what George Niang we're going to get. Steph Niang or I don't even know where to go with the other.
George Mirasan.
Yeah, there we go. I'll take that. I'll take that all day. Or Chris Yang. So I just the depth that the Clippers have versus the Jazz and Kawhi Leonard matched up on Royce O'Neal scares me. Paul George could get a switch on Royce and torch him.
That's the thing. There's going to be a lot of switching.
Do you think
because they can play kind of positionless?
I know this is crazy to ask you, and I'm probably going to get screamed at by our wonderful listeners. Do you lessen Rudy Gobert's minutes because he could be a liability on the court?
He will not be a liability. In what world do you live in where Rudy Gobert is a liability on the court?
I'm still scared to death. I don't know 9463 counter to it. Luke Kennard and Marcus Morris are gonna be able to do whatever they want with Rudy Gobert on the perimeter. I still don't think he's a good perimeter defender.
Rudy Gobert's not going to be out there defending those guys on the perimeter.
Who's going to defend him then?
Rudy's going to be protecting the paint, protecting the rim.
He can't stand in the paint for 20 seconds, there's a 3-second violation.
Is this Rudy Gobert versus 5 LA Clippers?
No, I'm saying
he's going to have help.
So what, you want Royce to be like, hey, Royce, I want you to guard the top of the key to get quiet, but then also want you to stand right in the middle just in case Marcus Morris wants to shoot it.
Where's Bojan? Where's Joe? Where's Donovan?
Defense.
Where's any other player of the Utah Jazz team who also play defense?
You're going to stick Marcus Morris, this Morris guy, on an island with Rudy Gobert on the perimeter. And it scares me because Morris can get to the rim. And I don't know if Rudy Gobert is good enough at covering or recovering when a guy wants to get to the hoop.
Oh, you apparently need to watch a little more film.
Maybe I do.
Because guys get past him and he still blocks them. Not every time. I'm not saying he's some go Gadget Arms Inspector Gadget that doesn't let anything past him. But he can consistently block guys from behind. He does that. Guys think they get past Rudy just to find their shot going into the fourth row. And he is quick enough and long enough that it's hard for guys to get around him on the perimeter.
Okay, so you're Mr. Optimistic, and I love that. What is the one weakness the Jazz have that the Clippers can exploit?
Well, I think if they decide to go, they can go big or they can go small. And I don't know that the Jazz, how well they can match them when they go to those different phases. If they go big, do they put Derek and Rudy in the lineup at the same time? No, they just haven't done that this year. They don't do that. You just do your best. If they go small, is it going to be Rudy versus Morris? And then have a lot of other shooters out there? I'm okay with the Jazz doing that, defending that as well. I'm not saying this is a Jazz team without weaknesses, but I think that what can be problematic is if you're a team that can consistently attack Utah, especially if you don't fear Rudy Gobert. If they don't fear Rudy Gobert and they're going to continue to attack him, he's going to block some shots, but there's a chance that he could get into foul trouble as well. And the Jazz, without Rudy on the floor, while we love Derek Favors, defensively, they are not the same. Their defensive rating drops.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I liked your point earlier or somebody else's point that came in on the text line. This series could come down to how engaged is Derek Favors? How active is Derek Favors? Because what will the Jazz look like with Rudy Gobert on the court?
3-4-2
off the court, excuse me.
3-4-2-6. You can still drop into a zone and have Rudy Gobert be effective. They are not going to be able to drop into any type of zone and be as effective as Utah will be. But speaking of zone, Mavericks ran that zone defense, which, by the way, if they would have done that against Utah would have put up 130 without even blinking. But that's the thing about the zone defense is you can drop into a zone, but then you can also have pick and pop guys who can choose spots where the zone is not there's just open spots in the zone. There's blind spots, there's what they call it. And if you can't see your blind spot in the zone defense, guys like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George will eat you alive on that.
Well, and do you have a playmaker who can break a zone?
Exactly, yeah.
But the Clippers, one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. So we're going to see a lot of threes.
That isn't right? They weren't the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA, were they?
They had the highest percentage.
Over Utah?
The Jazz shot the most threes, made the most threes in the game, but the Clippers had the highest percentage of three-pointers made.
That makes sense.
So they were the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA.
Damian Lillard we don't know where Damian's going to be next season, and that's an honest truth. Terry Stotts has been as parted ways with Portland as the head coach. What is the situation there in Portland? How do they get it fixed, and how do you get it fixed while making or keeping Damian Lillard happy and comfortable and confident that you can be a title contender? We're going to talk about that more here on the Full Court Press on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
This is for those who always show they care, who told their kids everyone 12 and older is eligible for a COVID vaccine. Those who explain to their cousins that vaccines prevent nearly 100% of hospitalizations and deaths from COVID-19. This is for the ones protecting those they love. Thank you.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Here's Chad, the lawn doctor, with a tip for your lawn.
Just a couple tips for this summer for a healthier lawn. Raise your lawnmower blade a notch or two. Longer grass helps conserve water and fight against stress. Double check your sprinkler coverage and watering times. Then call the lawn doctor to put down a grub preventative and to try our popular new 2-service soil enrichment program.
Fertilizer, weed, and pest control. Call the lawn doctor at 753-LAWN or go to LawnDoctorCashValley.com.
Did you know you could do most of the rock, block, and paver projects around your home yourself? It's true, and Castellite and Logan can help. Their friendly, knowledgeable staff will help you on those projects and more. Why go anywhere else? You can find everything you need for rock, block, and paver projects under one roof at very competitive prices. Right here at Castellite and Logan. For brick, block, rock, paver, and tile, go where the pros go. Online at Castellite.com.
They say diamonds are a girl's best friend, particularly when she's thinking of marriage. When it comes to this important decision, visit S. Needham Jewelers in historic downtown Logan. We have been the part of thousands of happy engagements. You'll enjoy our vast selection of beautiful and unique engagement rings. You'll also enjoy our relaxed and elegant environment. You'll not be hurried and you'll feel no pressure as you have fun looking for the perfect ring. Where Utah gets engaged. S. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Loveland Living Planet Aquarium takes us outside our everyday lives, into a world of discovery. It's a chance to explore our innate curiosity, discover animals from around the world, and experience the all-new outdoor plaza and eco. More to explore at Loveland Living Planet Aquarium. Reserve your visit at thelivingplanet.com.
Well, what shall we talk about?
You're listening to the Doug Gottlieb Show.
I don't like this at all for Browns. Like, if I'm the Browns, I want the Texans' first game this season. If I'm the Browns, I want the Broncos. I want the Giants. Like, to me, that's what I want, a game that I'm just better than the other team and maybe get a road win out of it and get in, get out, and start out 1-0.
The Doug Gottlieb Show.
Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan. It doesn't matter who you root for. The Full Court Press has all the high school sports covered. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Just simply because, like, dude, you get free hot dogs, chips, nachos, drinks, and you still get to watch the same game that everybody else is watching, but you get free food with it. Not spending $25 for a hot dog and a drink.
Yeah. Ford Fan Zone, pretty cool.
Dude, I love that.
I mean, it makes sitting up in the nosebleeds kind of worth it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. 3426 text in, Eric. You can fix it by letting them come back home to Utah, even if he is a Weber State alumni. We're talking about Damian Lillard. The Blazers were eliminated by the Nuggets. Damian Lillard was phenomenal. Had the double nickel in his the last game of that series, and they still couldn't find a way to get into the second round. Terry Stotts has been released. They mutually agreed to part ways. How do you fix this issue? And I love 3426 issue by bringing him to Utah, but realistically, with a guy who just signed an extension, how do you fix the issue?
I love Damian Lillard. He is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I love his attitude, love the way he plays, his shot making. I mean, he's one of my favorite guys in the NBA. It also helps that he went to school in Utah. But it's time for Damian Lillard to move on.
Oh, wow.
I love that he's got the 0 on his jersey to signify Oakland, Ogden, and Oregon. But it's time for it to find something else. He has given everything he can to that franchise, only for them to not get him help. I mean, how many different ways have we looked at how good he is, and they can't go anywhere. They just don't go anywhere. So it's either time for them to make some serious moves to get some A-list talent there, or to let him find somewhere else.
Damian Lillard has just completed the first year of an extension contract. He's got 4 years left on this, which means he's not an unrestricted free agent until 2025, you guys.
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
39,000 this year. Next year. 42 the next year. 45 and then 48.
39 million.
48 in dead cash by year 4. 48 in dead cash, man. That is unreal.
That's going to be hard for anybody to make deals.
But is it worth it? Like, do you take it and do you say with the sum, like with who he is as a player, even at the age of 30, do you say, you know what, we'll pay? I mean, we'll fork it. We'll hit the luxury, the luxury tax. Do it proudly and take Damian Lillard. Right? It's worth it, isn't it?
If
pay him and then you take him.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you'd have to give up a lot to get Damian Lillard. But we've seen it happen. I mean, he's an amazing talent.
Oh, he's unreal.
He is incredible.
537. Go ahead.
He needs help, or he needs to go to a team
that has help.
Yeah. And he's just a missing piece.
He's the one guy that if he went to a super team, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? Good for you.
Good for you.
You know what? Go get it.
Can you imagine him with the New York Knicks?
Oh my gosh.
Playing alongside Julius Randle.
Okay. And I brought this up the other day, and I was chastised for it by AJ. But dude, go to Brooklyn. Dude, you know how great that team is? Go to...
Nah, he would... With Kyrie there, James Harden.
No?
Don't they have beef, too?
Oh, yeah, I guess they do.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Okay, fine. Jeez, calm
down.
You
know what could be interesting?
What?
Boston may be looking to move away from Kemba Walker.
Hasn't he been there for a year or two?
2 years. And it hasn't proven to be effective.
Well, I could have told you that 5 years ago. I mean, they make dumb. I mean, Danny Ainge. We got to get into that, too. By the way, 5-3-7-4. Put Lillard in the East, and he's in the conference championship every year. He needs to be traded. Portland's not going to give that up, though.
No.
I mean,
no.
I mean, unless they get 3 firsts, 2 seconds, and a heavy load of cash, and maybe a star player with it. They're not even sniffing at you. But at the same time, if you're Damian Lillard, you're begging him. You're saying, hey, look, I've done everything I can. You can't build a team around me, obviously.
No, look, it's been what Portland has been a place, a franchise that is content to get to the playoffs. And that is where it ends. They are not a team, a franchise, at least they haven't been in a long time, that says, we want to do whatever it takes or be smart enough to make the right moves to get us to a conference championship and go to the NBA championship, the NBA finals. Like they just haven't, and they've got a great player in Damian Lillard, but they give him some decent pieces, but not great pieces. So either they've got to find a way to give away several of those pieces to go get a star, like a legit A-list star to play along Damian, or they got to find a way to send him somewhere where he's going to be happy.
3-4-2-6. I could see Dallas with Mark Cuban's money, but I don't want to see that.
I don't know. I don't see
Dallas though.
Luka and Dame, they play the same position.
Yeah, and Kristaps there too. I just don't see it working.
Well, Kristaps is kind of whining these days.
Yeah, and Tim Hardaway Jr. is another guy who's up and coming right now on that team, and I just don't know if that quite fits where they're going. I would say San Antonio, but I don't know if Popovich is going to be there next season. I mean, he's got the Olympics coming up, but he might be exhausted after that. I just don't know if he's going to be around to see next season. Utah just can't fit. They're about to hit the luxury tax. I mean, you got 3 guys or 2 guys who I think need to be re-signed. You need to find a way to keep everybody else, or at least keep them happy financially. It's going to be tough to even keep the roster they have right now together next year, which, by the way, includes Mike Conley, who is going to be available, and I think is an unrestricted free agent. I think this is his last year. So,
send Conley, George Niang,
and Clarkson, I think, is also on that list.
But send them to Portland in exchange for Damian Lillard, or can Damian Lillard and Donovan Mitchell coexist?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
I think so.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Donovan Mitchell is not a guy who's afraid to say, you know what, I'll be that guy. I mean, if you're going to give up the ball to anyone, you're like, yeah, I'm going to let Dame shoot that. Are you kidding me? 1570 says Milwaukee would be a good fit for Dame. I'd actually agree with that. Milwaukee would be a great fit. Middleton, Giannis.
Giannis would appreciate that.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. 9948. Lillard to the Chicago Bulls.
Bulls actually,
I don't.
Kind of an interesting team and what they did in the trade, the break, getting some players from Portland. That's an interesting team that could be on the hunt for making some improvements.
They need to make some major improvements then, because they're a long ways away. 5-3-7-4.
They weren't that far out of making the playoffs.
Sorry to text again. Don't be sorry, 5-3-7-4. We love the texters.
Yeah.
Keep them coming. You don't have to be sorry. Texting as much. In fact, text in every letter of Eric's name. That will prove that we love.
One by one.
Yep, absolutely. 5-3-7-4 says Damon Mitchell won't work. You'd ask a rising star to take a back seat, and that would be terrible for Utah. If you had a chance to play with Damian side by side, you would do it, right? There's no way you would say no to Damian and be like, I'm sorry, I don't want to play next to Damian. He shoots from.
I don't know. You've been Batman. You're going to just change your robes to be Robin instead?
If it's going to help you win an NBA championship, you're going to say no to that? I'm just saying. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It's happening.
What had you done, Cody? Second hour of the Full Court Press coming up here on 106.9 FM, 1390
Big trade in
AM.
the NFL.
We're excited.
Hall of Fame.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. After weeks of speculation, the Falcons traded Julio Jones to the Titans yesterday. Julio is 32 and expensive, which is the only reason why he was available. Even though he's probably not at his peak, Jones could still be formidable in Tennessee. Defenses have to focus on Derrick Henry and that running game, which should give Jones and fellow wide receiver Ajay Brown plenty of room to work. Jones' production is unprecedented. He's the all-time leader in receiving yards per game. If things go well in Tennessee, he will quickly climb up the all-time yardage list. The only thing lacking on his resume is a Super Bowl. He came close. Falcons had their chance against the Patriots, but we all know what happened there. The Titans are a tough team to figure out. The team plays hard for its head coach, Mike Vrabel. Now, they should have an offense that could theoretically compete with anybody else other than the Chiefs in the AFC. Jones has a chance to add another successful chapter to a Hall of Fame career. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Is your dad's razor older than you are? Does it belong in a museum? Well, get him something new for Father's Day. A Dollar Shave Club 6-blade razor is perfect for an extra close, precise shave. The best Father's Day gift is giving dad something that he won't give himself. Top shelf grooming products. Dollar Shave Club's got you and dad. Get one now at a store near you or as part of a gift set at dollarshaveclub.com/Patrick. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Patrick. I recently had a chance to go outside and give my truck some much-needed TLC, so I grabbed Meguiar's new bright orange bottle, the hybrid ceramic wash and wax. Couldn't wait to try it. Has a unique two-liquid system that not only gently cleans the paint, but leaves behind their hybrid ceramic wax protection with instant water-beating action. Now my truck looks good. It is dope. It's protected. Meguiar's hybrid ceramic wash and wax with advanced SiO2 technology.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Ajay Salvesen.
We're talking college, right?
Just
Yeah,
college.
just
Oh,
college.
I'm taking Alex Smith all day.
Nope, Tim Tebow.
Alex Smith would have done what
I
Tim
don't know,
Tebow
man.
did at Florida.
No, I want you to watch the Tim Tebow speech.
Oh my! I'm not
after
going
he
to
lost
sit
to
here and watch
Mississippi
highlight
State.
videos.
Well, if you're
going to
be wrong,
why
you
did you
need to be
watch highlight
educated.
videos of Alex Smith then?
I know what
Well,
Alex.
I know what Tim Tebow was too. I
Tim
watched
Tebow is
him.
one of the greatest college players of all time.
Weekdays from 4 to 6 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The home for Skyview Sports. Sports Talk Radio, KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
And here's what you need to know.
Series tied at 2-2. Game number 5 right now, Eastern Conference semifinals. Got the New York Islanders and the Boston Bruins. David Pastrnak has scored his 6th goal of the postseason early on, too. Bruins leading the Islanders 1-0. That's the only game that's going on right now on the ice. Winnipeg and Montreal in about 60 minutes from now. Major League Baseball seeing just 3 games on the docket today. One of them has the Red Sox and the Marlins going at it from Fenway Park. Boston leading right now in the top of the 5th inning. 5-1 is the score. Cubbies and Padres later on tonight. NBA will get 30 minutes away from Milwaukee and Brooklyn taking center court. Nets up in that series 1-0. You got Denver and Phoenix later on tonight. They'll open up their series in Phoenix with game number 1. National Football League, Adam Schefter and a handful of other reporters are reporting today that Aaron Rodgers is not expected to report for the team's mandatory minicamp tomorrow. I'm David Gascon.
It's the Full Court Press.
There is no stopping this team.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools. If it's the sport you care about, we're talking about it.
Merrill for the lead. He's got it.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Ajay Salvesen.
I'd hate to see how you balance your checkbook.
I'm telling you, I'd hate to see you general manage a team.
Y'all getting paid millions to act like
the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Hey!
I'll do it. Never mind.
What's up?
No, forget it. Just stop it, Eric.
You know, I stepped away for a minute. And
you know, Eric.
Ajay's like, I'm running things now.
Well, yeah. And then I show up today, I come into the studio, and you're late. So then I'm like, well, here I am again. Picking up his crap and his glasses.
I wish you would pick up my glasses.
Oh, look, there's some things, I mean, some of the most valuable items are beneath the ocean. And Eric's glasses are beneath Lake Powell. That's great.
Like a treasure.
Dude, I wish I would have been there to see your son flip that thing, though.
Oh, he felt so bad. He felt so bad.
Don't feel bad, kid.
I'm like, dude, it's my fault for how I set it up.
You made him feel bad, I bet. You probably made him cry. You were a fun sucker. You sucked the fun out of rainbows. Full Court Press, 5:01 your kickoff time here on a June 7th. Welcome.
That's impossible to suck fun out of rainbows.
No, it is. You can. All right? Like, some people taste the rainbow. You suck the fun out of the rainbow.
Double rainbows can do nothing but bring joy and happiness.
What in the world?
I don't know what's going on here.
Eric started it. I'm stopping
All
it
right,
now.
Guys.
Full Court Press. Welcome back, Eric. Good to have you.
Help.
Stop it. Get help.
Get some help.
No, it's get help.
No, it says get some help.
No, it doesn't say stop it.
No.
Get help.
No, it doesn't.
Stop it. Get some help.
Oh, it is get some help.
Get some help.
Get some help.
Thanks, Michael.
Hey,
Thanks, Mike.
If you want to be a part of the show, 435-339-0321. 435-339-0321 to our Gil Mortgage text line. 9948. Lillard to the Nuggets.
Ooh. You give up on Jamal Murray then?
No, dude. Portland's not shipping the guy to the Nuggets in the Western Conference. That's just not happening.
No.
3426. Portland hasn't been able to get it together since the days of Kurt Rambis and Clyde Drexler. Whatever Damian Lillard got to do, get out and do it. They'll never be any better.
They're a sinking ship.
Titanic.
Yeah.
They've had moments when they've been a playoff team. They've looked okay, but never gone deep. Not since Clyde Drexler. You're right. And Terry Porter.
Well, they had the Bryant Grant team that went to the Western Conference Finals and got hosed by the refs and the Lakers. And they went 7 games. They probably should have won that series, but David Stern had other agenda items. You'll never convince me that the refs were not a part of that series.
There were some very shady calls in that series.
Some?
I agree.
Okay.
But you're right. Since then, when was that?
2002?
Early 2000s?
Yeah.
So for 20 years. And how long has Dame been in the league?
2009? Yeah, 2009.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah.
Has he ever been to a Western Conference Finals?
No.
He's made it to the semifinals. He's been in the second round.
He got drafted in 2012.
Yeah, it's too bad. This is definitely, I think, a make or break off season for Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers to stay together. The coaching decision that they make I think Terry Stotts is a nice guy, but I've never thought of him as a great coach. Damian was kind of advocating for Jason Kidd, and Jason Kidd's like, look, that's going to be putting me in an awkward situation here, so I'm going to back out. I'm not even going to be in consideration, which I'm not exactly sure why he did that. Not sure that he necessarily would have been the best option anyway, but what they do with who they name as their next head coach and other moves that they try to make this offseason to give Dame some help should signal to Damian Lillard if there is a long-term plan here. I mean, how many more years you go without them making some serious moves to bring in other top talent to help you?
Hey, sorry, and I'll get back to you, I promise. 6789 and 9463 are right. Blazers made the Western Conference Finals in 19. Forgot about that.
Did they really?
What?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't here, so that's my excuse.
What do you mean you weren't
Gosh,
here?
who was
I
in the
wasn't
Western
in this
Conference
country.
Finals that year?
Remember they played the
I
Warriors.
was in the other hemisphere.
They played the Warriors.
Who did they beat on their way to get there?
Now you have to ask me. Let's see here.
Well, they sent 6789 says they sent home OKC and Paul George in the playoffs.
Wait, wasn't that who did the Jazz play? Oh, the Jazz played the Rockets that year and lost in the first round, right?
19?
Yeah,
Yes.
so in 19, here's what it looked like. In the Western Conference, Golden State beat Houston. Portland beat Denver. Oh, sorry, in the first round, Houston beat Utah. Golden State beat the Clippers. Denver beat San Antonio. And then Portland beat Oklahoma City Thunder. Then the Blazers beat the Nuggets. Warriors beat the Rockets. And then the next round, the Warriors beat the Blazers in 4. That wasn't with Kevin Durant though, right? That was without Kevin Durant. Yeah. Dude, they beat him in 4. They beat him 116-94, 114-111, 110-99, 119-117. So disposed of him pretty easily. Let's see. 9176 text in. 6 out of 7 experts on CBS are picking the Clippers to win the series, Eric. 6 out of 7.
Disgusting.
Well,
look,
but and it is disgusting, but is it right?
538 was predicting that the Clippers had an easier path and a better path to the championship than Utah did. 538.com was also predicting. Now, this is before the playoffs began. I haven't looked at it today because I've kind of been out of it, trying to get caught up.
We know you went to Lake Powell and got to hang out for a week. We got it, all right?
Mad flex,
Congratulations.
Eric. That was pretty cool. Not everyone gets to go down to Lake Powell.
It really was pretty cool. It was fun.
I hate you guys.
But 538 now, it's they use a lot of statistical analysis. They were predicting the Clippers had a easier path, a higher percentage of making it that far. But now the landscape has changed dramatically with the Lakers out. So I don't know. I'd be interested to see what that is. But the Clippers are a dangerous team. They play defense. They've got shooters. They've got depth. But I think I also just described the Utah Jazz. They've got shooters. They've got depth. They play defense. I think this is going to be a great series. It could go 7. I think the Jazz still get it in 6, but it very easily could go 7.
Okay. So here's what we want you to do. All of you texted your predictions for the Clippers Jazz series. 435-339-0321. Text in it's a 7-game series, of course. First 2 games are in Utah, a capacity crowd. Yet tickets are being sold for like $65 on the UtahNBA.com website. But game time is at 8 o'clock for 1 and 2. That'll be on ESPN and
it'll be on TNT and then ESPN.
And then ABC for game 3 with the Clippers. It's an every other day series. And then back to ESPN, then TNT again if needed. You just said Jazz. You think Jazz in 6.
Yes.
Cody, what is your prediction for the Utah Jazz, LA Clippers? And then our texters as well, 435-339-0321.
It's I genuinely believe that it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be the Clippers in 7. I just don't know. I'm going to go with the Jazz in 6.
Are you? Wow.
Because I just don't think that the Clippers are going to show up. They're going to go through one of their waves again.
You don't think they're going to show up in the Western Conference semifinals?
Nope. No. The Clippers? No, I don't. I don't think so.
9948. Rudy will be the deciding factor. Jazz in 6. 5860. I always wondered what you guys did when not on the air, Ajay. Glad I got to meet the local celeb. 5860. I had a chance to meet today in Bear Lake. It was funny. He walked over to me and he goes, "Hey, what's your name?" And I said, "It's AJ." Because people can't pronounce my name right, so I have to say it like 3 or 4 times. So like, yeah, it's AJ. And he goes, "You sound like Ajay."
You're just trying to hide. Trying to hide your celebrity status.
I am a celebrity. He was super nice, though. Family was super wonderful people. It was so cool to meet one of our listeners. And a big thanks to 5860 for taking the time to say hi to me. Greatly appreciate them. That was very, very, very kind of you. And it was an honor to meet you and your wonderful family. Hope to get to see you guys again, please. He says, so sad about my Mavericks losing in 6, or Mavericks losing the series, but the Jazz in 6, though, for sure.
You heard it here first.
6789 says Jazz in 6, Quinn versus Tyrone Lue. Ooh. And that's actually a good point. Quinn Snyder is going to outcoach in every single way Tyrone Lue. Tyrone Lue doesn't have a shot. If they win this series, it's because of Kawhi and PG and the players.
Okay. I think that Quinn Snyder is a better head coach, but Ty Lue is undefeated in Game 7s.
Oh,
he has not lost a Game 7.
No, LeBron James helped him win a couple of Game 7s. Let's not get no. Don't do that. And then he continues. Plus, something about Paul George makes the Jazz get up, especially Joe Ingles.
Yes,
dude, Joe Ingles is probably salivating for that. Like, finally, I get to see my best friend PG. Hey, PG.
Pandemic P.
What you going on, man? 6891 says Jazz in 5. The Jazz didn't go 7 games in the first round. The Jazz in 5.
Wow. Okay, by the way, just quick pause.
Yeah.
Quick aside here. We talked about 538. They do a lot of statistical analysis.
Absolutely. Love it.
So I just looked it up.
Okay.
Chance of winning the NBA Finals.
Yes.
The Nets are number 1 at 23%.
Suns got to be second.
The Suns are 4th at 10%.
Someone's on drugs.
And then you have the semifinal series happening beginning tomorrow night between the Utah Jazz and the LA Clippers.
Okay.
They are number 2 and number 3. Jazz at number 2 at 22%. Clippers at number 3 at 19%.
That's bonkers.
Almost makes you want to put your hopes up again. So close.
5788 texts into the show says Jazz in 6 unless we have multiple games of good shooting, then Jazz in 5. Jazz defense will dominate this series. 3426 Jazz in 6 if Conley is healthy. If he isn't, then Jazz in 7. Are you guys being, and I mean this in a respectful way, are you being optimist or realist? Because you just are Jazz fans.
Am I optimistic about the Jazz? Yes. Am I realist about the Clippers? Yes. I think that explains me a little bit.
It explains me as well.
Me and
But
Eric
the
are
Clippers,
Guys,
Clippers do not get out of the second round. They're really not a very well-run franchise.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with what they do on the court, man.
No, it has everything.
It has everything
to do with it.
Yes, it does.
It does not. What the general manager is doing up, or what Steve
Paul
Ballmer's
George has a history of collapsing in the playoffs.
That's true, but Kawhi Leonard does not.
Kawhi Leonard,
except he does.
He does not.
Last
Kawhi
year
Leonard
he
took
did.
Toronto and won an NBA championship.
How can
He
you
led San
not call a
Antonio to
3-1 collapse?
championship,
Too?
So do you want to ask the same question about the Utah
Kawhi
Jazz?
Leonard is
I already have
Ask the
come to
same
terms
question
about the Utah Jazz.
Kawhi Leonard has not been the same since that run with the Raptors. He hasn't been as dominant since that run.
What the heck are you talking about?
He wasn't that great in the bubble. He wasn't great last year.
Well, not a
he
lot
hasn't
of players
been
were
dominant
great
this
inside
year.
the bubble, man.
He's picking and choosing
Kawhi's
his games.
not been dominant this year?
Look, he had a great Game 6. I'm not taking that away from him. But here's a guy that takes games off for his body Is he going to take games off in the postseason?
No. Oh, come on, Eric. You know this answer. Don't.
He's just
Eric.
not. Look, he's not as dominant. He's not a force like he used to be. Look at all the statistical data this year. Kawhi Leonard is far down the list of his impact on the game. He's not quite this. Look, he's still a great player. Don't get me wrong. But he's not like this guy that we should all just get on our knees and bow down to.
5338. Joe Ingles will be all over Paul George like a kangaroo on a koala. I have no idea what that is, but mixed breeding should be illegal. 3426 says, this is LA's second string team. Just ask LeBron James. Call him coward. 6891. Yes, I'm being real. I think the Clippers are going to be wore out. 6789. Kawhi benefited by two great cultures with good leaders on the team.
Right. That's a big difference. When he was in Toronto, Kyle Lowry was the great vocal leader. There was a good coach. They had a good culture there that was brewing, that was growing. He was just a missing piece. In LA, they didn't have that already established good vocal leader because they brought in Kawhi Leonard with no personality. Paul George doesn't have a ton of personality. They just didn't have that good vocal leader who was already established, who could center the team. That was their problem last year. I don't know that they've made some changes, but I don't know that they've really solved that.
5788 says Clippers couldn't win at home against Dallas until Game 7. Can't see them taking games in Utah. 6789. He wants to just keep his head down. He can't for LA Clippers like he could in Toronto and San Antonio. This guy is not LeBron James.
Yeah, LeBron James, love him or hate him, there's a lot of things that can send you both ways.
Yeah, definitely.
But he's very vocal. He doesn't mind the smoke. Doesn't mind having all the attention on him. And kind of relishes that. Kawhi Leonard does not. He wants to just go out and play basketball. He wants other people to take all the interview questions. They want to take all the focus. He just wants to go out and play basketball, and he's very good at that. But when you're starting to ask him to also be the vocal leader on the court and to be the one that's always going to talk to the media, he's uncomfortable. That's not his strength.
What are you talking about? He did that in Toronto. He did that with San Antonio. He was now he's the vocal leader on the court.
No, Kyle Lowry was that guy in Toronto.
Yeah, I guess
there were other guys in San Antonio who were doing that as well.
Okay, but here's the thing is Patrick Beverley can be the vocal leader for you. All you have to do is go out and play. Paul George will be a vocal leader for you. All you have to do is go out and play. That's all they're asking him to do right now. The vocal leadership leave to
Paul George, and he's admitted this, Paul George is like, look, I deserve different treatment. Me and Kawhi, we deserve to be treated differently than everybody else. How does that go with team chemistry? It doesn't. That was a big problem a year ago.
When you're in the playoffs, you throw all that crap out the window and you go try and win a ring. And then you can take care of that in the offseason. I'm just simply telling you that this team, like this Clippers team, scares the absolute crap out of me. And Kawhi Leonard is going to be the best player on the floor at all time.
Look, of the four teams in the West that have, you look at their teams, who they are, what they have, thinking which of those four teams is the most likely to be an NBA Finals team, I think a lot of people would default to say the LA Clippers. And I understand why they would say that. I do. That's me being the realist about the LA Clippers. But I'm also trying to be a realist and optimist about the Utah Jazz because of what I've seen them do.
Okay, but you saw
because
them
they
do it
don't get the
against
same
Memphis.
attention as the Clippers do.
Yeah, but you're doing it. You're trying to look at that through the series versus Memphis, and Dallas is a better team than Memphis.
No, I'm doing that on what I've observed from the season as a whole. The body of work that the Utah Jazz have put together this season. Their depth, their defense, their shooting, their coaching give them that edge over the Clippers.
Okay, I want to play a game with both of you really quickly. Okay. And speaking of giving the edge, and this is what I want to ask you. So offensively, who do you give the edge to? Clippers or Jazz?
Utah.
Whew.
It's closer than it was with Memphis.
Okay. Yes.
Utah has more firepower, has more talent, more offense than the Clippers do.
I'll say Utah. Defensively,
Depends on which team shows up.
I'd see we can't play that game though. It's got to be straight up. I'm saying the Clippers defensively.
Defensively, Utah's been the better defensive team all year than the Clippers have been.
Yeah, but when we saw Clippers in Game 3 when they were healthy and they played the Jazz, Clippers torched them and got whatever they wanted all day long. Clippers got whatever they wanted.
What, in Game 3?
That was the third game of the regular season, the final game of the regular season, when they played
the game that they won by 2 points?
What, the Clippers? The Clippers won that third game by what?
2 points. 4 points, excuse me.
4 points.
But they were up by 15 for most of the game. When they put
that one game that they won in Los Angeles by 4 points when they torched the Jazz?
Yeah, they beat.
I'm having a hard time understanding your logic.
Because they played the Jazz, that earlier in that week, right? And they sat Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and a couple other guys. Jazz whipped them.
Right.
Played 3 days later.
Killed them by 20 points.
Okay, played 3 days later with George, Kawhi, and all those guys now playing, and the Clippers had a 14-point lead at one point. I mean, they were cruising. And
there are leads, there are runs for both teams. If there's a 14-point lead by some team at some point of the game, that happens all the time to lots of different teams. Just because you get a little bit of a lead on somebody doesn't mean, oh, look, you torched them that game. The end result is the end result.
Exactly, and it was a loss.
By 4.
So
don't tell me that they torched the Jazz.
So you beat a team by 20, but then you turn around and lose to that team by 4 with all their healthy players back. I just think, okay, let's get back to the subject. Defensively, Clippers are better than the Jazz. Coaching-wise, I'd still give the nod to Snyder by a long ways. Home court advantage, I give to the Jazz.
Yes.
Let's see here. 9176. Who's the Clipper? Who is the one Clipper that the Jazz fans haven't heard of, but will grow to hate? Something like Dylan Brooks.
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson was absolutely. Dude, he was already annoying me in that Dallas series so much.
I think really he is the biggest difference between what they are this year compared to what they were a year ago.
Meaning what?
They didn't have a really good floor general. They didn't have a good point guard. They didn't have somebody who could kind of direct traffic. Reggie Jackson's been that guy. Why he hasn't been a starter before the playoffs, I don't know why.
All right, so I've been debating about it. I've been listening to you guys, and I wanted to make sure I was good with my opinion and my thought on this. This is going to be a heck of a series. I think this will be a fire star power kind of a series. You're gonna get a lot of physicality. There's going to be a lot of chirping. There's going to be some technicals. This is classic playoff NBA basketball you're going to get. But defensively, the Clippers scare me to death. And then offensively, I think Rudy Gobert's going to get exposed. I'm worried about our bench coming up and actually being existent versus their bench. Kawhi Leonard's been really good. I like the Clippers in 6.
Oh, there it is.
The worst.
Jazz fans should celebrate.
I guarantee you.
There's a siren.
The Clippers win this series. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say Clippers in 6. It could be Clippers in 7. And I'm disgusted with myself. I feel like I just committed adultery or something. I mean, I feel so gross right now. I need to go have a shower.
I feel gross for you.
You should.
I am
Disgusted.
disgusted.
But again, and I love the optimism from our listeners. I love the hope and optimism from you. But Cody and Eric, I don't feel like I'm getting enough realism from you. I feel like it's just all, hey, we are Utah Jazz fans and we're gonna beat the Clippers.
Well, I'm the most
adrenaline rush.
I am as cynical as a Jazz fan as they come, but I don't think that we lose this series. I think that there's a very good reason why we should win, and we have a very good case for winning.
3-4-2-6. Cody off with his headset. Okay,
you're done. Okay, I like that.
Off with his headset.
Okay, so game 1 goes to who? At Utah.
Utah.
Yeah.
Game 2? I'm with you, by the way. I think it's 1-0 Utah.
I think Utah gets both games.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
I think Clippers end up winning game 2. We split at home. We go to LA for 2 games. What do you got?
I have Jazz. This is going to be hot. I have Jazz winning the first 2 at home and splitting with the Clippers.
So they're at 3-1 in your area.
Yeah.
I think Clips get game 3.
Okay. So it's 2-1.
I think the Jazz steal one. I think they steal game 4.
So it's 2-2, right, for you?
No, it's 3-1.
3-1 for you. I have the Clippers winning both in LA. So it's, what, 3-1 in for the Clippers for me.
You're 3-1 for the Clippers right there?
Yep. And then you have what? So
I'm 3-1 in favor of the Jazz. We're coming back to Utah. Clippers will win the next one. It will go 3-2, and the Jazz will close out.
So in 6, okay.
Yeah, I actually have the same thought.
Yeah, so I have the Jazz winning game 5, and then game 6 going to the Clippers.
God, I hate you, Ajay. You're the worst.
You know,
honestly,
no,
I just can't stand you.
I'm just trying to help you guys.
No.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
You stink.
No. Again, you guys.
I'm done with it.
I don't think you understand the power.
Don't stand up for this
the
either.
Claw power.
Don't stand. No.
The claw
Don't do
power.
this. Oh my gosh. Whatever.
3426. Your help was not wanted. Take down the help wanted sign. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Let's go to break. Coming back, we got Pick 6 results here on the Fan. 106.9 FM, 1390 AM.
Les Olson Company realizes that having cutting-edge and dependable computer hardware enables the front line of your business to get the job done. They also help you play defense with the most sophisticated IT security products available. Create an all-star work environment with the latest IT products and best support in Cache Valley. Les Olson Company's managed IT is there for you all the way.
Les Olson IT.
Visit lesolson.com to learn more.
We all know moms rule the world, but dads are important too. Do something special for Dad this Father's Day. Pick him out a watch to fit his personality from Jerix. We feature watches by Citizen, Bolova, unique wood watches by Tree Hut, and our own one-of-a-kind custom brand Jerix fine jewelry timepieces. Or maybe your dad would like a tie bar, chain, bracelet, or how about a special ring with your name engraved on the inside? Let Dad know how special he is.
Jerix fine jewelry. Make it special, make it Jerix.
The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Yeah.
You got to be a realist, and you're not like a realist person doesn't play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game.
I'm just saying, if Donovan Mitchell plays game 1, the Jazz sweep the Grizzlies.
5338 Jazz haters smell like weed. Signed Z-Dog. Dude, he got his Twitter account suspended. I can't find him on Twitter anymore.
What?
Yeah, it got suspended. I can't find it on Twitter anymore.
It's a bummer.
Hey. Might have been the... you're a subscriber to his. You're a
posting
subscriber
more
to his YouTube channel. Have you seen
videos of him kissing his arm?
No, dude. Have you seen the other videos? Oh, you're a subscriber to it. Have you seen?
No, I'm not a
you need to hop
subscriber
back
to Z-Dog.
Yes, you said you were. You are too. Don't jump off the wagon now just because he had a little bit of a hiccup. Stick with it. Z-Dog fan for life.
Come back.
Okay, here is my prediction. If the Jazz beat... Okay, so you guys think the Jazz are going to beat the Clippers. If they beat the Clippers, they're going to the NBA Finals.
I agree.
And do you know what?
That'll be their toughest challenge until they reach the NBA Finals.
I think they smoked the Phoenix Suns in 5 or Denver in 5. Denver or Phoenix doesn't have a legitimate shot versus the Jazz at all. I don't care if they beat them in the series, in this regular season series. They aren't beating them in the playoffs. Quinn Snyder and the Jazz are going to smoke Denver or Phoenix if the Jazz were to get there. Now, Brooklyn's a different monster. Brooklyn is a 3-head monster that is just mean and aggressive and blah, blah, blah. My other concern is, for the Clippers in 6, is what does the NBA want? You laugh, Cody.
I laugh because I know it's true. That's why I'm laughing.
The NBA needs the Clippers in the finals. They need the Clippers in the Nets. Ratings-wise, will explode.
I hate them.
I know. I'm with you.
I hate them.
But the refs are going to screw the Jazz over.
Stop it, Ajay.
They are.
Stop.
Just listen to me. It's
No,
realism
it's a
time.
different era.
Therapy. It's not a different era, man.
Sterling doesn't do the same stuff that his predecessor did.
Denver, your ratings got killed last year. Your ratings were not great in the bubble. You need TV revenue to skyrocket. This is what they need. They need the Nets and the Clippers.
You know, I blame
Sorry,
you.
not Sterling Silver.
I blame you and AJ.
Yeah,
for
when you
holding
said that, I was like, wait, what? Don Sterling's still back?
I blame you and AJ for holding that funeral and breathing life into the Clippers after we did that
Eulogy?
segment.
Yeah, we did that eulogy of the LA Clippers and how they were buried.
Yep, and how it was over. No hope.
I spoke it into existence.
Shame on you.
It's AJ's fault too. Both of you.
Blame AJ more because AJ came up with the idea and I just went along with it because I thought it'd be the cool thing to do. Because that's what cool kids do.
So kind of hard to throw him under the bus there for a second.
Cool kids just follow the crowd. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All the cool kids are doing it.
AJ was doing it. I'll do it too. All right. So Clippers, Jazz tomorrow, 8 o'clock on ESPN or TNT?
TNT.
Yeah.
Let's see. 9463. I just drove past the Radio Ranch and I swear I could smell the blasphemy coming from Ajay's hot takes. Guys, again, listen, I'm on your side. I'm a Jazz fan. I love the Jazz. I breathe the Jazz. Okay?
But every turn you're negative on the Jazz.
But I'm not
you have no hope for the Jazz.
I'm not going to bash on the Rockets because I like them too. But I love the Utah Jazz. And again, if the Jazz beat the Clippers, they're going to the finals and they're going to beat the Suns or the Nuggets in 5 games. But Clippers in 6. Such a what? A realist?
I can't handle you right now.
Such a what, Cody?
I can't.
Such a what?
Whatever.
You're
I just
mad
can't.
because
I'm not mad.
You're mad
I'm
because
not mad.
I
just think it's funny.
You think it's funny?
I just think it's funny how you're always negative on the Jazz, but claim to be a Jazz fan.
How many times did the Jazz broke your heart, Cody? Huh?
I was born on Jazz, like the year of the Jazz tears.
Is that all it is? You're trying to put this hard shell around your heart because you don't want it to be broken. You're just trying to protect your soft emotions.
I've had my heart broken.
You're vulnerable.
I've had my heart broken by Stockton and Malone. I've had my heart broken by Darren Williams and Booze the Cruz. I've had my heart broken by Donovan Mitchell in a 3-1 series lead versus the Nuggets. You can't blame me for as long as I've been a Jazz fan that I'm not yet pessimistic that we're going up against the vaunted Clippers. We might have won that series 3-1.
So let's not get excited about them.
We're without their all-stars.
Let's not get excited about them only or until they win an NBA championship.
When they win an NBA championship, Eric, let me ask you, you're a lifelong Cubs fan. By the way, congrats to your Cubs' best record in May in the league. I don't know what the crap happened. Steroids are an amazing drug, maybe. Okay. Yes.
Playing well.
Okay, Eric.
Nice golf clap.
When the Cubs would get to the NLCS, I don't know, let's just pick a random year, 2003. And
Did they make it to the NLCS in 2003?
I don't know. I just remember Steve Bartman being there. Okay, and were you like, oh yeah, we're gonna win this series. We're gonna win the World Series. As a Cubs fan, honest, diehard Cubs fan, NLCS, Game 6. I mean, come on. Did you really think they were gonna win it?
Yeah, it still held out hope.
There's a curse.
God bless you.
There's a curse on our fandom, Ajay, and if the Jazz win the finals, then maybe the Aggies will never choke again or something. I don't know.
Hey, 9995 brings up a great point. You don't have to be overly optimistic on the Jazz to be a fan. Yeah, I don't have to go out there and walk in a meadow of daisies and flowers and beautiful cut green grass.
I'm a Jazz fan,
hey,
but Memphis in 5.
I didn't say Memphis in 5.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I did not.
Pretty sure you did.
I said Jazz in 5. I said the Jazz would lose one of those games. I didn't think it'd be game 1.
What other year would we not have a better chance than right now?
I don't know. 97, 98 when we didn't win the finals. How about 2007 or excuse me, 08 when we had Corver, we had a prime Booze, prime Darren, and we still lost to the Lakers in the second round. Do you want me to keep going? No, do you want me to keep going? Because I will. We've had so many years as a lifelong Jazz fan, Eric, you can attest because you've been there too, where we've had great teams and exceeded those expectations.
Yes, it's the life of being a Jazz fan.
Okay, so when I say
so why
Clippers
can't you
in
have
6, don't
hope,
get mad at
Ajay?
me.
Why can't you have
because
hope?
I'm being a realist.
No, Ajay.
Because I'm telling you that you are that just because I've been through everything, I don't have to have the hope still. I can say, well, you know what? It was a great run. We had a great season. It ends here in 6.
We don't be fans just like we don't be players to be okay with just the playoffs.
What?
We're not okay as fans just to make it to the playoffs. Just the way that you don't hope that your team loses to the Clippers or something like that. Like, you can be, objective, like, in the way that you speak about the Jazz, but you got to be a fan, Ajay.
I still am a fan. Who said I'm not a fan?
So let's roll this back for just a second. Okay, so first of all, the Jazz in this second round.
Yeah.
What are their weaknesses? What will be their sticking points that could slow them down?
Perimeter defense and isolation.
No, I'm not talking about the Clippers. What are the Jazz weaknesses that will slow them down and provide sticking points that may prevent them from advancing?
Can't stop one guy, and you got a big man who can't guard the perimeter. Offensively, your bench can't score except for one guy.
Nobody in the NBA has a guy like that coming off their bench. It's going to put 25 on you every night.
25 shots or 25 points? I'm being dead
Doesn't
serious.
matter.
Yeah, it does, dude.
25 points off the bench from one guy is it's a huge lift.
But when you shoot 25 shots to get there, that's an issue. It's not a good thing. It's an issue.
It doesn't matter what lineup the Jazz have on the court. They're going to have a shot maker.
And Donovan going ISO ball.
Has he been going ISO ball?
He has a tendency, yeah, and he's had some dumb moments too.
And how did that work out for them in the first round?
Well, because John Morant
when
got
it was
tired,
necessary, it worked out just fine.
Okay. But Rudy Gobert. Again,
probably going to be the defensive player of the year.
That's wonderful for regular season. We're talking about a talented Clippers team for 7 games.
How well did he do against the Memphis Grizzlies?
Memphis is not the Clippers.
They attacked the rim. They had a good big man. How did he do?
He wasn't on the perimeter like the Clippers will. The Clippers will.
Valanciunas could go out and hit a 3
consistently.
Yes.
No.
He could.
Not consistently. Not like Morris. Luke Kennard scares me. I mean, I guess Luke Kennard.
Luke Kennard scares you.
Against Gobert, he does.
Gobert's not going to guard Luke Kennard. You have
on a switch.
You live in this weird world where Rudy Gobert is the only guy on the court against all the Clippers, and he has to guard every position.
You talk about
all the time.
Tyronn Lue being a good strategist. Tyronn Lue's going to get switches on Gobert, and they're going to get Gobert in foul trouble. Gobert will be in foul trouble.
Look, so I will agree with you there that could be a real challenge for the Jazz. If Gobert is in foul trouble, can Derek Favors give you good, solid minutes while he's on the bench? When we saw in Game 1, when the Jazz did against Memphis, Rudy did get into some foul trouble, and the Jazz struggled late when he wasn't available late in the game. So he's going to make a big difference. How long can Rudy Gobert stay on the court? Can Derek Favors give him solid minutes to give him a good rest? Or to stay out of foul trouble.
5374. Ajay, you're digging yourself an odd hole. I'm just trying to keep myself realistic and not. Here's my problem: is I get my hopes up way too much. When we were up 3-1,
I couldn't tell
on the Nuggets last year. You guys, I was so giddy and so happy. I guaranteed the Jazz were going to win in 5. They lost in 7. When my Braves were up 3-1 on the Dodgers, I was so giddy and so happy. I guaranteed the Braves would win in 6. They lost in 7. Guys, I've had my heart broken, crushed, shattered to pieces. And now here we are again. And
You're forming this crusty, hard, protective shell around your sensitive little heart.
Probably shouldn't say
because you don't want to get hurt
I don't think
again.
that's a really...
I'm sorry.
I've had my heart broken. I've had my heart shattered. I've had to speak unspeakable things about the Utah Jazz because the way they let me down. 5763. Ajay, how about you take a realistic stance with the Clippers? Have you seen their postseason resume?
Yeah, Ajay.
Okay.
Let's be realistic about the Clippers.
You know what?
How about Kawhi and Paul George just not showing up like for certain games, like at all? Don't you think that'll play into like any of these games?
When are they not showing up?
Dude, don't even.
No,
don't even.
When are they not showing up? I'm sorry.
How about the first 2 games against Dallas? How about those ones?
9463. Ajay, I think you're being smart on this one. I just think the listeners just have muscle memory to disagree with you 1,000,000,000% of the time. Cody, hello. How are you doing?
I usually agree with you, but I can't see where you're coming from. I'm sorry.
All right, we got to take a break. Coming back, we got some Mike Conley injury update news. And
Wait,
then,
before we do that.
Oh, no.
A text.
Oh, no.
From Bicycle Shorts.
Jeez.
How can he be a Utah State fan if it's all about his heart getting broken?
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, Bike Shorts? How come Bike Shorts never text me on our show? He texted AJ last week, too. Come on. Where's the love? All right. We're going to take a break. Mike Conley injury update news coming back. Is it a gamesmanship move? And then they have just announced the coach of the year for 2021 in the NBA. We'll get to that here on the Full Court Press.
Big trade in the NFL, too.
Wouldn't it be nice to work for a company that puts their employees first and isn't afraid to say thanks for a job well done? An employer who respects you and has no problem rewarding you with a competitive wage and benefits package? You belong with a company like Third Gen Machine right here in Logan. Third Gen Machine is hiring CNC operators, machinists, and maintenance technicians. Apply on Indeed. Just go to Indeed.com and search Third Gen Machine. Trust me, Third Gen Machine is where you want to be. Equal opportunity employer.
This is The Herd.
The winner in this is also
Colin Cowherd.
Aaron has 17 fourth quarter wins. Oh, Colin, that's because they don't trail much. Neither does Russell Wilson, and he's got 35% more than Aaron. Joe Flacco has more than Aaron. Andy Dalton has more than Aaron. Aaron is not a foxhole guy. He sours very quickly.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Hi, this is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. At White Pine, we value compassion, integrity, and service. We are committed to serving you and treating your family as our family. We will be here when you need us most, to listen, to help, and to provide exactly what your circumstances require. At White Pine, we promise to dedicate our time and attention to you and your family. We invite you to come by and meet us. We're confident you'll feel a difference.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wee's T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
It's the Utah Jazz Fan Show. -1. Eric Frandsen, Cody Hilton, and Ajay, Salvesen, 106.9 The Fan. Thanks for joining us. However, wherever you're doing so. Got some Utah Jazz news to share with you. Mike Conley is listed as... Wisted?
He's wisted?
Stop it.
That's really,
Shut it.
really bad.
Don't. Mike Conley is listed as questionable for Game 1 tomorrow, which I would assume when he's... Almost every time he's been listed as questionable, he's played.
So wait, help me out. Did he miss some of the series against Memphis?
Did he miss...
He went out like in almost the first quarter, like midway through the first quarter against Memphis Game 5.
Game 5, yeah.
Yeah.
But then came back and...
he sat out the entire game.
No, he came back right for the next game, though.
In the closeout game, he didn't play, but like a couple minutes in the first quarter. We had this conversation not like an hour ago.
I'm sorry, man. It has been a weird week. Okay, so Mike Conley is listed as questionable. I would assume
he did participate in some drills today with the team.
In morning shoot around today, he did participate. He went through some stuff, and he'll do the same thing tomorrow as well for shoot around. Don't know if he'll be available for press tomorrow, but that's kind of where we're at on schedule with him. And then the NBA's 2021 Coach of the Year is Tom Thibodeau. He had a total of 350 points. Monty Williams was second with 341. And a very, very, very distant third was Quinn Snyder at 161.
What's interesting is looking at the tally here. And Monty Williams actually got more first-place votes.
Yeah.
Monty Williams also... let's see. He got 2 more first-place votes than Tom Thibodeau did. But Thibodeau got 10 more second place votes, and I think that's what really made the difference there, the way that the points system works. So Tom Thibodeau wins 351 to 340 over Monty Williams. Quinn Snyder, as you said, a distant third at 161. Quinn Snyder got only 10 first place votes. So it went 45, 43, and 10. Quinn did get the highest number of third place votes, but that doesn't really matter. So, but Doc Rivers got two first place votes, which is interesting. He also got 2 second place votes, 8 third place votes. Nate McMillan at Atlanta got 12 third place votes. Steve Nash got a second place vote. So I'm a little surprised, not necessarily that Tom Thibodeau won, but I am surprised by the distance between number 2 and number 3. That Quinn Snyder was such a distant third.
Yeah, well, by the way,
compared to Monty Williams.
Can I ask, who's the little moldy corn dog who gave Steve Nash a vote?
Hey, it takes a lot to keep those guys.
Like, was that Dave McMenamin, the freaking LA Lakers beat writer who is like, makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for LeBron every day? How the fetch did Steve Nash get a vote? That's unreal.
One of the best
Eric
records in the Eastern Conference.
Wow, I wonder why. Maybe it's because they had Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving on the same basketball team.
Who only played 9 games together.
It doesn't mean you only need one of those guys on the court. It only takes one of those guys to go win. All right. So Mike Conley's questionable. Tom Thibodeau's your coach of the year. Defensive player of the year is Rudy, right? There should be no question here.
That shouldn't be a close vote.
There should be no question. If Ben Simmons wins this award, it needs to be deleted from NBA history.
He won't. The only question for me is, what will be the margin be?
Yeah.
What will be the margin be? That's awesome English grammar.
Hey, you're starting.
The only question is, what will that
Indian,
margin look like
that.
between Rudy Gobert and everybody else? It shouldn't be close. So anyway, we were talking earlier in the show about these other postseason awards being handed out. Well, there you go. Coach of the Year, Tom Thibodeau. And you know what? I get it. What he was able to do with that New York team. Thibodeau's known as a good coach, but that at some point he rubs his team the wrong way and they fall apart. So I don't know if it's just going to take a little bit longer for that to happen in New York or if he's turned over a new leaf. I don't know, but he helped Julius Randle evolve into a much better player, a more impact player. Julius Randle got the most improved player. That was a good team. They got bounced out of the first round of the playoffs, but that was one of the exciting storylines of the NBA this year is the reemergence of the New York Knicks, who have been such a bad team for so long, and then they've turned around and had a great season. Monty Williams, I understand too. That was a team that wasn't in the playoffs a year ago, and then bang, they're right there competing for the best record in the entire NBA.
Though. It's Chris Paul. It's not Monty.
Chris Paul deserves a lot of that credit, but not all of the credit.
You got it. I mean, dude, come on. It was the same team last year without Chris Paul, and they went 8-0 in the bubble. Chris Paul goes there, and they finish second in the league.
Well, look, because of what we saw in the bubble, we saw this was a team that was evolving, that we knew was going to be a good team. We didn't expect it to be as good a team.
Last bit of NBA news is coming from the Philadelphia 76ers, courtesy of Shams. 76ers president Daryl Morey and the franchise have each been fined $75,000 for violating the league's anti-tampering rule. The fine is in response to a social media post made by Morey on June 3rd regarding the Golden State Warriors' Steph Curry. Man, Daryl Morey, he creates controversy and trouble wherever he goes. Now he's in Philadelphia, and he's like, hey, Steph, what you doing, man? Team lost. My team's still in it. Why don't you come to Philadelphia? I don't think that's what he said.
I don't think that's what he said.
Okay.
But I don't know
really?
What he said.
Okay.
I don't know
I'm
what
sorry.
he said.
Yeah. You were in Lake Powell looking for your glasses in the Loch Ness Monster, so how would you know?
I couldn't see what he said.
Checks out. He's got a pass.
Taking a break, coming back. Pick 6 results coming up here on the Full Court Press.
This is Jay from Daryl's Appliance. We think it's time for a little fun. This year we want to celebrate Father's Day with a special contest just for the dads. Bring in your ugliest tie to Daryl's for the chance to win a DJI Mini 2 drone. Stop in, leave that ugly tie, and you might win. Ties will be accepted from June 1st to June 12th. Voting on the ugliest tie will begin online June 13th to 19th. We'll announce the winner on Father's Day, June 20th. Happy Father's Day and good luck. Daryl's Appliance, west on Airport Road.
This,
keep it on the down low here,
is the Dan Patrick Show.
I think that they should do weight division, like boxing, heavyweight, light, heavy. If you had weight divisions, and let's say those over 235 pounds are in the heavyweight division, you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody probably in the world faster than DK Metcalf at that size.
Dan Patrick. The Dan Patrick Show. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Another Full Court Press show is coming to a close, but you can find them on Twitter. Follow Eric Frandsen at eFrandsen and Ajay Salvesen at Ajay Salvi. If you missed today's episode, find it on 1069thefan.com or wherever you get your podcast.
The new home for the Full Court Press. Weekday afternoons from 4 to 6 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
All right, so I don't know what was on the line. I don't know what the lines were. I just get to sit back and enjoy to see who has to pay up for pick six this
Speaking
week.
of which, you owe Cody from 2 weeks ago because you lost. We lost. Cody won by
I figured
one.
since I was out of cell phone coverage that the results wouldn't matter.
Stop the count
for me from 2 weeks ago. Stop the count. I guess not.
I was in Lake Powell. Stop the count.
I lost my glasses. I can't see.
Stop the count.
Have pity on a blind man.
I lost by 2. You lost by 1 to Cody.
All right.
Yep.
So this week,
so what was it this week?
This week, you want me to go through each individual line?
Yep.
Okay, the first one we had was Colorado versus Vegas for game one. This is Colorado giving a point, and the only one that won that was AJ, who took the under because Vegas won.
Crap.
Brooklyn total points versus Milwaukee game one, over-under set at 18.5. They got 118.5. They got 115. Everyone got that one. Everyone took the under. Luka Doncic, game 6 points set at 33.5, got 29. I'm the only one that got that one. I'm at 2. AJ's at 2. Ajay, you're at 1. Winnipeg, game 3 penalty box minutes. Line set at 5.5. There was 27.
Oh!
Everybody got that one. Yeah, that was a good one. More points in game 1, KD or Giannis.
Wait, what's the score right now?
Going into that one, Ajay, you have 2. AJ has 3, and I have 3. More points in game 1, KD or Giannis. Giannis had 34, KD had 29. Ajay, you were wrong. I was wrong. AJ was right.
Is AJ gonna freaking win?
Luka triple dub in game 6. Game 6. No. He was 2 rebounds off, I believe.
So overrated.
Everyone got it. Everyone got that one. Clippers versus Mavs. Who's going to win it in the end? Ajay, you were the only one that got it with the Clippers. Me and AJ took Dallas.
So where are we at?
Right now, let's see here. You're at 4, Ajay. AJ is at 5. And I am at 4. Cubs versus Giants. Who wins the series? Cubs lost all those, didn't they?
I don't know.
I double checked. The Giants won. We all 3 took the Cubs.
Nice job, Eric.
Thanks. The one time we need you to win. And you come up short. Atlanta versus Philadelphia. Ben Simmons points 19.5. Was the over-under. He had 17. AJ and I both got that one. The final tally is Ajay 4, Cody 5, AJ 6.
Whoa. Come on! He's not even here.
I hate you.
I hate AJ so badly.
I hate AJ so much. Let's never invite him back.
Yeah,
actually.
We're never doing that again with him.
What a jerk.
That sucks. We just lost to AJ, dude.
I know. What could be
worse?
worse?
I lost to you and I lost to AJ in back-to-back weeks.
Yep.
So from last week, I owe Cody.
Yep.
And this week you owe Cody and...
No, I've already paid Cody up.
AJ?
Yeah, I owe AJ. I don't owe Cody anything. I owe AJ.
I owe AJ.
Hey, Les, short time here. Your thoughts on the Julio Jones trade to Tennessee?
What the fetch? What a rob. Highway robbery. Second, fourth, and a sixth, right? I'm sorry, I got to look at this. Second, fourth, and a sixth, I believe, to get Julio Jones to the Titans when you have a running game and that AJ Brown cat on the other side. I mean, this is highway robbery for the Titans. My Patriots can never catch a break, and this is the crap. Why? We have no interest in Julio Jones.
How does this revolve back to your Patriots?
But
this
we
has
have
nothing to do with you.
In like a fourth rounder from Seattle?
If that's all that it took to get Julio Jones, are you surprised other teams?
Yes.
Like
I'm shocked.
Tennessee is the team that got him for that?
Shocked. Stunned.
Unequivocally shocked.
Green Bay, what are you doing?
Dude, don't ask me. I've been stunned by them for many years.
Chicago. This is unreal. That is robbery. Like that
Tennessee.
Makes the Texans think
Wow.
looks
Watch out for the Titans.
Oh yeah.
Next year.
You got Ryan Tannehill's a decent quarterback. You got a good running game. You got a solid offensive line. You got two good receivers now.
A good defense.
Deep threats and a great defense with a great defensively head coach. It is going to be a major issue. That is unreal. Makes me just want to throw up. I'm sick of this crap. Super teams being formed. By the way, 9463. Eric would have had 7. He's a true champ.
Apparently, I lost 2 weeks ago, so it happens.
5 seconds,
Every once in
guys.
a while. A
Sat
blind
player-
mouse finds the cheese.
We'll talk tomorrow.
I feel like a blind mouse.
This is right.